Hey guys, I'm John at JD Customs USA. Today in this video we're going to show you how to correctly measure your hardware that's on your car now and replace it with beautiful titanium hardware. So stick around for all of the tips and tricks to make your life so much easier. Knowing how to measure your hardware on your car is not a super easy task if you just haven't done it before. So we have a few tools that we love to recommend to people to just make your life so much more simple. Let's start off with our newest product here. This is the JDC Titanium, solid titanium billet bolt thread checking gauge tool. Now this is a pretty expensive tool and I only made it titanium because I knew people were going to be asking for it in titanium, but we do offer a billet aluminum version, which is a lot more affordable and it really makes your life a whole lot easier. So to start off by using this tool, you're going to grab any random bolt. Let's grab this one. I know exactly what size this is because I just know it because I've looked at so many before, but let's say you don't know. So we're going to find the right size. Yep, all right, there it goes. So if it threads in smoothly and easily, you know by the hole you screwed it into that this is going to be an M8 size by a 1.25 thread pitch. And in order to get the length, you just flip the gauge over to the back, hold it up to the bottom here, and this one is a 30 millimeter length. So now you know this is a M8 by 1.25 by 30 millimeter long bolt, and it is a hex flange head. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how to identify different bolts later on. Another really cool tool that we have to help you measure your hardware is this thing. You can hang it up in your garage, pull it out whenever you need to check a bolt. It has standard and metric sizes on here, and you can also check the sizes of bolts and nuts with this. So let's grab another random bolt off the table here. Let's see what this size is. So we're going to go to the metric size. We'll start down here lower at the bottom because this is a pretty small bolt. So let's try this one, M4. 0.7, nope, it don't fit in there. M5 by 0.8. Yep, got it threaded straight into there. So now we know this is a M5 by 0.8. And since this doesn't have a way to measure the length, you can take a ruler and just measure from the bottom of the head to the end of the threads, and you know the length of this bolt. If you have a JDC Bolt Measuring gauge, flip it to the back, measure, and this one is a 15 millimeter long. You can also double check it with this one. So it should be a M5 by 0.8. Yep, screwing straight in there. So now we have correctly identified this bolt. Another little helpful tool that we have is a caliper. This will help you measure all kinds of things, bolts and nuts being one of them. So on a hex flange bolt, the length that you need to know is from underneath the head to the end of the threads. So you're going to get your handy dandy caliper here and you're going to measure that distance there. And you need to measure in millimeters. So this one is a 20 millimeter long bolt, and you can also verify the size on here. It should be an M6 by 1.0. Correct. So another less expensive tool that we have here is this plastic measuring tool. This one does not have any threads built into it, so it kind of leaves you guessing with the thread pitch, but it will help you identify the size and the length of the bolt. So this one should be an M6, so it's going to fit right there in the M6 slot, and then you can easily measure it from here, and that shows it's 20 millimeters long. So this is a less expensive tool if you don't want to spend money on getting ones that are just make it a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and talk about the different styles of bolts that we offer. So this is our flush mounting custom head bolt. This uses an Allen key, not a Torx, and it has a built-in flange here. So a lot of times you don't need to use a washer with these, but we did make these to fit with our custom titanium washers. So these go in here and they fit perfectly flush. It gives you a really smooth, low profile look whenever you put these on your car, and the washer being there helps protect the surface whenever you're tightening it up, and just adds another little beautiful titanium touch. So that is our custom style head. These are available in M5, 6, M8, and M10, different sizes. Lots of different lengths also. All right, this is a hex flange head bolt. So this one can be tightened with a standard socket, and it's just a normal style looking bolt there, nothing super special about it. This is not a custom style design that we made ourselves, but still nice. Here's a stud. This is a custom design that we made. It has an Allen key in the front to help you be able to tighten it into the car. A lot easier than having to do the double nut method to get it in there. And let's see, here is a button head bolt. So this one looks like a little button. That's why you call it a button head. That's pretty much all about that one. This one here is a countersunk bolt. So countersunk means that it's going to be countersunk into the part. Usually these are used on things like steering wheels or anything that has an already countersunk recess in the part. And if you are measuring a part like this, then you're going to need to measure from the top of the head to the end of the threads in order to get the correct length, because they do count. So measure from that. Let's see what else we got here. This is one of our newer style custom hex flange bolts. So this is a design that I came up with, and it has our logo here in the middle. It's really nice. These bolts were actually designed to fit in the same washers. Let's see. Just like the custom flange head bolts, these fit in here and go in perfectly flush. And this is one of our carbon fiber washers also. We just released those a few months ago, and they're super nice. We'll talk a little bit more about those later. Alright, this is a bolt that is used for FP manifold. This one is a M10 by 1.25. This has a collar here that's no threads there, and then it has the threads at the end here. Whenever you're measuring these, you need to measure the threads separately and then measure the collar, and then you measure from the bottom of the head all the way to the end of the threads to get the total length here. This one is a hex flange bolt. Here is another one similar that has a collar and also threads at the bottom, but this one is an Allen head. This one uses an Allen key to torque down. Here is a really small Allen head bolt. You can see it's the same style as the previous one. This one is, I believe, a M4 size. We have these available in different lengths and things. This is a GTR valve cover bolt, and this was a custom designed style that we had to make in order to fit the GTR valve covers perfectly. And we're probably going to be changing a couple out on the car that's behind us here soon. This one has a collar here that helps center the valve cover on the head, and then it has the threads here that thread into the top of the cylinder head. This one has a built-in flange, and it is tightened by an Allen key. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about our washer options. So this here is a titanium custom M10 washer. This one has a recess here in the middle, which is made to fit perfectly with our M10 bolt here. So you see it goes flat and flush down here for a nice flush look. So this is the only outer diameter size we offer for M10, but for M6, which is a way more common size bolt as far as engine dress up hardwares, we have a M6 with a 23 millimeter outer diameter that fits perfectly down like that. This is for an area kind of like on the GTR behind me here that has a bigger washer from factory, and you want to make sure you have a washer that's big enough to cover up the area where the factory washer may have left a ring or rust or whatever behind. So this will effectively cover up that area there. If you don't need one that big, our most common size is the M6 by 20 millimeter outer diameter. See, it also fits down in here perfect like this. This is the most common size because it's just a really good size to replace most common washers. We have a smaller size here that's used on valve covers and other smaller areas. This one is a M6 and it has a 16.5 millimeter outer diameter. That's a really good option there. And we also have standard washers if you don't need a custom style. So we also have the carbon fiber washers. We have them in the M8 size, which is M8 right here. This is made to fit a M8 custom head bolt or one of our custom flange head bolts. So we have a M8 in forged carbon, we have it in 2x2 carbon, and then we also have M6 in 2x2 carbon, just like this. And then we have the forged carbon, and then we also have the same 16.5 outer diameter washer in forged and 2x2 carbon. With our M6 bolts, they snap right into place there for a nice flush look. I hate the giant bulgy looking hardware that you see on some cars. It just sticks up too far and stands out like a sore thumb. And we also have that in forged carbon fiber. Works the same way. Just like that. And then if you need a smaller carbon fiber washer, we have the M6 by 16.5, and it fits perfectly like this. Alright, so let's talk about how to kind of cross-reference between different bolts and nuts in your engine bay. So if you have one bolt that you know the size, you can use that to cross-reference and find out the size of other stuff. So if I have this bolt here, I just bought it on a car. I know it is an M6 by 1.0 thread pitch, and you need to know what type of nut to go with it. So obviously if that bolt threads into this nut, you know the nut has the same size and thread pitch for that. And washer sizes are going to vary depending on application. Like I said before, if you have a washer that needs to be bigger to cover up a surface area for a scratch or rust or something that's left, then you're probably going to want to go with a bigger washer than came out of the car, like an M6 by 20 outer diameter, or maybe even the M6 by 23. So another helpful tool to measure the outer diameter of a washer is your calipers here. You can use those to easily measure the outer diameter of a washer, showing you this is 20 millimeters. And if you get the smaller one, you can measure here and you can show it is 16.3.5, right around there. So if you have a washer, you want to make sure you get a little bit bigger to cover up where the factory washer leaves a mark, then this is a helpful tool to get the correct size washer. Alright, let's talk about these little ugly things. I think everybody here probably knows what this is, plastic pop clip. We know that they break almost every time you use them, every time you take them out of your car, and they're a pain to pry out. Can we get this one? There we go. We have a solution for this, so get rid of this crap. And we have plastic pop clip hardware replacement kit, so you can replace that with titanium. This is a rubber well nut that goes into the hole where the plastic pop clip would have went into. And this is a M6 size, this is an M5 size. It's going to vary depending on what your application, what you're using it on. So how this works is this goes down in the hole in your frame or in your carbon fiber or whatever you're replacing the plastic clip with. And then you're going to put the plastic panel back on top of there, whichever you're attaching. And then you're going to put a washer on top of that piece. And then you're going to put your bolt down in there, and then you're going to tighten. And as this tightens, this is going to sandwich up, and it's going to cause it to not be able to come back out. Here's an example like this. Whenever you thread that in there, this is going to expand and make a tighter connection in there. So that is a solution for replacing them crappy plastic pop clips. The rubber well nuts are the best option to use in softer materials like carbon fiber, fiberglass, plastics, and we do have aluminum rib nuts. These are better for using it in your frame, something that's metal, something that's not going to have a whole lot of play in it whenever you're attaching these. The rubber well nuts are a lot more safe in softer materials because they bulge out. And whenever you fasten these into your frame, this is going to suck up and it's going to make a tighter connection there, which softer materials may kind of pull through softer materials. So that's why I recommend the rubber well nuts for softer materials. Metals, harder materials, aluminum, they work exactly the same way. So if you're replacing a plastic pop clip that goes into metal, like in your frame or in a harder piece, then you're going to want to use an aluminum rib nut. These do pretty much the same things as the rubber well nut, except this one makes a permanent tight connection here as it squeezes up. A lot of times these will break through softer materials like plastic or carbon fiber, so that's when you use this. These are a lot more safe. They just blow up. Alright, so now that you know how to easily identify the different types of bolts, the different sizes, different thread pitches, and you have all the tools here to do it, head over to our website, take a look around. If you have any questions, we have the best customer support team on the market, so just reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions for you. So go and get those rusty, crusty, nasty, ugly looking little bolts out of your car and replace it with beautiful JDC titanium.